What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about the two biggest mistakes that I see beginning real estate investors make over and over and over again. All right, guys, today we're going to talk about the two things that I see so many of our beginning real estate investors make the same mistakes over and over and over again. For quite a while now, I've worked with tons of different beginning investors. We have individuals in our private Facebook community, which if you'd like to join that, hit the link below. It's Reset to Wealth Mastermind. And this community is focused, it's a free community. It's for anybody to be able to join to focus on learning real estate and being able to get questions answered and have a community there to help answer those questions. But as a result of this Facebook group, I get a chance to see a lot of different investors come in and take the steps to try to learn how to do real estate investing. And the thing that I have seen over and over again, the number one reason why people have a hard time is having issues with their comps. When people have issues with their comps, they do two things wrong within that section too. They'll have an issue when they're comping to create their ARV, which stands for your after repair value. And so when you're figuring out how much that property can sell for after you've flipped the property, that is what your ARV is, the after repair value. Many times people will go through and they'll pull their comps. They'll just pull the top one or two or maybe three comps in the area that look really nice and they sold for above market value. The challenge is when you're going to now sell that property to somebody else, they're going to also take into account all of the other properties in this neighborhood, the ones that sold lower, the ones that sold around the middle. They're looking at the good, bad, and the ugly, everything in between. And they want to know where their house stands in comparison to that, whether you're selling to another investor as a wholesaler to be able to do that flip, or if you're also selling to an end buyer, that appraiser and everybody else who comes through, they're going to be looking at those numbers to make sure that it lines up. So make sure when you're taking your ARV, we've got different videos walking you through how to comp a property. We have many of those that are coming out every single week, and we even go live every Tuesday and Friday, often talking about comping. And so one of the things that we talk about here is making sure to take the average price per square foot of all of the different homes in the area that have sold. That ideally it's a flip, but if one house sells for much more than every other house in the neighborhood, is there a reason for that? Is it that there's a garage, or is there a driveway? Does it have a bigger backyard? Is it not on a busy street? Does it have a more updated roof? Is it better finishes inside? Are there appliances that make it more appealing than another one? Is it just the layout even? Sometimes the layout can make that difference. So make sure to compare apples to apples and really kind of put it together. Also, if you have a 3-bedroom house that you're trying to comp and you pull comps for a 5-bedroom house around the corner, obviously that's going to sell for more. And so make sure you're trying to pull like type comps to be able to come up with your price per square foot and then figure out what your home would sell for as an ARV. And another note on that too is make sure when you're doing that, especially in the market that we're seeing right now, where everything is declining and we're starting to go into this recession, make sure that you're pulling comps from the most recent information that you possibly have. Right now, we're pulling 30 days or less if we can. If we don't have anything, then we'll start to look back further and further. But at that point, we're starting to already take a discount off of that because we know that the market has already depreciated. And so make sure as you're pulling those comps, you're pulling it from recently. Something that sold 2 years ago or a year and a half ago when things were super hot, it's not the same to comp. It's not something that's reliable as a comp for today, because that's not what it would sell for today in today's market. The second part of the comping structure that I've seen people make mistakes on, and this might even be the most common, but it's also one of the easiest ones to fix, is make sure that you're estimating your rehab budgets correctly. So many times I see people come in here and they'll be like, yeah, this house needs a total. The other day somebody sent me a property and it was a total gut. Somebody had already pulled out most of the stuff and it was down to just the studs inside the house. And they told me, they said, yeah, it's going to be $20,000 in repairs. And I don't know about you guys, but I have not seen a single contractor that will even do half of that job for $20,000. Most of the time when you're looking at something like that, you're going to be around 70, 80, even over 100K sometimes, depending on the size of that home. So make sure you're estimating your rehab accurately. If you have to, talk to contractors in the area, look up average prices of different types of work that need to be done. If you need to put a roof on a property, the other day we had a realtor who told us that putting a roof on a house was only going to be about $5,000. Again, I haven't seen a roof go on a house for under $10,000 in quite a while. It could be different in your market, but we're not seeing anything under $10,000, even on these tiny houses. So make sure that you're coming up with your rehab estimates accurately, because by the time you go through and you do that equation to come up with your offer price, which for those of you who don't know, it's your ARV, so your after repair value. You times that by, right now in today's market, we're timesing it by 60%, then subtract out your rehab, and then you subtract it. If you're wholesaling the offer, you're gonna subtract out your assignment fee that you're hoping to achieve. So make sure to come up with your offer. That's your MAO offer, your maximum allowable offer, to be able to extend on this home. And by the time you've done that, make sure, again, get your ARV accurate. When we see an ARV, and sometimes you have to do a gut check. Every once in a while, you'll send out this, you'll do your average price per square foot, you'll times it by the square footage of this home, and then you go to look at it and you're like, hey, my ARV is 250. And then you look at it and every other house in the neighborhood, the highest you've seen a house sell for is 180. Obviously 250 is gonna be pushing it. You don't wanna be the most expensive house in the neighborhood. So you're gonna wanna bring that thing down. Again, we call it the gut check. Just bring it back down to what's reality. Bring it back down to reality, make sure your ARV is accurate, and make sure that your rehab budget is accurate, that you're not underestimating. If anything, it's always safer to overestimate, and then it just leaves greater margins for yourself or your end buyer if you're a wholesaler. Or if you're the flipper themselves, then it gives you greater margins and more wiggle room just in case something pops up, because it seems like something always pops up. Again, make sure to get your comps right, get your ARV, your rehab accurate. Second thing, and this is a huge one that I see as well, is that people are afraid to take action. If you're gonna dive into real estate, have fun with it. Realize that there's so many opportunities, and especially there's even ways to do it that are low risk. So if you dive into wholesaling is an extremely low risk form of real estate investment. It gives you a chance to be able to get into a property, to run your numbers, to start to put it in front of other buyers. Even after you have it under contract, it gives you a chance to put it in front of other buyers as long as you're during that inspection period with very little to no risk. Most of the time you can recover your EMD back if you've gone under inspection period, and you can recover that EMD back if you back out during the inspection. And so it gives you a chance to be able to actually practice in this field without having to go through it. Now, you can also start to tarnish your name. So don't again, if you're throwing out crazy numbers as far as your ARV and your rehab, then people are going to start to associate you with that. So as long as you've done your numbers correctly, then jump into it, and then partner up with people who know how to fill in the gaps that you don't know how to do yet. So like I said, hit up our Facebook group. We're trying to help people all the time. We do these lives twice a week, being able to have people jump on and answer questions for them. We'll do phone calls with them. We'll underwrite deals with them. We'll help them out however we can. So make sure to partner up and squad up with people who can help you get to the finish line. Don't be afraid to take the action. If you never take the action, you never learn. And so make sure to dive into it, have fun with it, and realize that it's a pretty low risk way to be able to get into real estate investing. Those are the two things that I've seen happen over and over and over again. The people who overcome those fears, they dive into it, they get their numbers right, and they're not afraid to take action. Those are the people who crush it and dive right into real estate investing. They're successful, they're able to make really good money from it, and those are the people who we often are partnering up with because they're taking the action and they're finding ways to partner up with other people. So again, hopefully this is beneficial to you. Drop a comment below. Is there something that's been holding you back, and there's something that we can do to help you out as a team? Or also, is this beneficial? Let me know if this is helpful to you. So again, like, subscribe. We super appreciate it. Stay tuned. We're going to be creating more content again soon.